Way back in June, I made this video titled 5 Bold NASCAR Silly Season Predictions. Now the season is over, just about every team has finalized their plans for 2023, and I figured we could look back at this video and see maybe how right, but more than likely just how wrong those bold predictions were. How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric. Welcome to a special episode of Out of the Groove. I already set the stage, so let's just jump right in here. I have not watched this video probably since June, probably since the day I uploaded it, honestly. But looking at the thumbnail, I think at this point in the season, most of us were still convinced Kyle Busch was going to stay with Joe Gibbs Racing. Maybe they were still going to find another sponsor to replace M&M's. That's based on the thumbnail. I also have a Trackhouse fire suit in the background. Maybe something Project 91 related. I don't remember what these bold predictions were, but they were bold. I do remember they were bold. So I don't know if any of them actually came true. But let's go back to June 22nd and let's laugh at me for the next 10 or 15 minutes.
Will Kyle Busch stay with Joe Gibbs Racing? Will Ryan Preece get Eric Almirola's seat?
Note, this also came out before Eric Almirola confirmed he was coming out of retirement, postponing retirement. I don't even think that was on anyone's radar at this point, in my defense.
What will Trackhouse do with Project 91?
There we go.
Today, I'm going to make some bold NASCAR silly season predictions.
You know, I don't really wear that purple shirt like ever anymore. I don't even remember where I got that. It gives me like Easter vibes. Also, look at this double intro. You get 2 intros in this video. Lucky day.
How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric. Welcome to
Hi, Eric.
Out of the Groove. The off weekend is behind us.
Look at me. I'm really loving that. I don't remember where that shirt is. It's all wrinkly, but look at me. I'm like really showing up. Okay, sorry. Back to the video.
Today, though, I'm not going to necessarily predict every single silly season move, partially because I don't think there will be a lot of moves. I think Ricky Stenhouse will stay in the 47.
Okay.
I think Eric Jones stays in the 43.
Yeah.
He sounds happy with Petty.
Don't think that was ever really in doubt.
RCR will likely exercise their option and keep Tyler Reddick in-house.
Yeah, they had that option, and then I think 2311 or somebody came in and bought him out. I don't know.
Take some real funny business, something really silly to get Reddick away from RCR next season.
Was this, I don't think 2311 had actually announced that Reddick was joining the team in 2024 then. Obviously, it eventually became 2023. I don't think this was June 22nd. When did that news come out? The infamous RCR timing couldn't be any worse. July 12th. You see that? Okay, so this video came out even before the Reddick to 2311 news was on anyone's radar. Oh boy, I'm worried. I'm about to get exposed.
I'm gonna make 5 bold silly season predictions, and I'll tell you which ones I think are the most realistic.
Oh boy, I just hope one of these bold predictions turned out to be true. And now I'll go 2. I think if I could get 2 of these 5 correct, that's a big win. I'll give myself credit.
Ones I think are the most realistic. Let's start with the Joe Gibbs Racing silly season rumor.
Okay.
I predict that Ty Gibbs will stay in the Xfinity Series for one more season.
We're off to a terrible start. 0 for 1.
This is really a hot take, but
oh my gosh,
I see discussion on social media or in my comment section about Kyle Busch's contract situation or Martin Truex Jr.'s potential retirement. Tons of fans in the comments or in the replies seem 100% convinced that Ty Gibbs is going to get their seat. And I don't think that's going to happen. Joe Gibbs said as recently as a couple months ago that the plan is to keep Ty Gibbs in the Xfinity Series for one more full-time season.
So that was true. At this point, I think everyone was still at least fairly confident that Gibbs would get a deal done with Kyle Busch, and Joe Gibbs had said that the plan is to keep Ty in Xfinity another year. At this point, he hadn't won the Xfinity Championship yet. He was having a good season, but this was still his first full-time year in Xfinity. I think Joe Gibbs, perhaps, having flashbacks to Logano being rushed up too early, Eric Jones, Daniel Suarez maybe coming up too early. I think he wanted to give his grandson one more full-time year in Xfinity. Obviously, because the Kyle Busch negotiations deteriorated quickly, Gibbs has been promoted to Cup next year. But at the time, I don't think this was a bad prediction, right?
Obviously, plans could change.
Yeah, and they did.
Racing loses Truex to retirement, and Kyle
Truex
Busch
never
due to lack
retired.
of sponsorship.
Truex did sign an extension for at least 1 year.
But I don't think the situation will get that desperate at Joe Gibbs Racing. Ty Gibbs has obviously been
Man, that sentence though. I don't think things will get that desperate at Joe Gibbs Racing. That did not age well at all. They lost Kyle Busch. They lost Brandon Jones. Chandler Smith, who I think was a candidate to get an Xfinity ride for them next year, went to Colleague. Everyone believes Truex is on a 1-year deal. Now Denny Hamlin and FedEx need to sign an extension in the next few months. Wow, that sentence did not age well at all.
My second bold prediction
All right.
this involves another top Xfinity driver.
Let's go.
Noah Gragson will get a full-time NASCAR Cup Series ride for next
Woo! Heck yeah! All right, we're 1 for 2. Batting 500, baby. Okay. I got one right. This was before Gragson went on that tear at the end of the summer. Remember, he won 4 straight Xfinity races at one point, kind of late in the season, going into the playoffs. This was before all that. He was having a good year, but he wasn't lighting the world on fire until the second half. And I predicted he'd get a Cup ride. Yes. All right. That almost makes up for the total whiff on Joe Gibbs Racing.
This one's going out on a limb a little bit, but
I don't know if it
think
really
about
was.
Noah Gragson, for being still a young prospect in the Xfinity Series, he's one of the older drivers.
Yeah.
He's about to turn 24. He's already in his 4th full-time Xfinity Series season. He's won 2 races this year. He won 3 the year
Gosh,
before.
how many races did he win this year? Was it like 9, 8? How many wins did he have? 8. Gosh, and he only had 2 at the end of June? Boy, man, the second half was ridiculous. No wonder he ended up getting a Cup ride. Yeah, this might have been bold at that time, but by, September, August, when did he get the Petty GMS seat? Like August or September, I think. By then, I don't think it was bold at all. But at this point in the season, sure, I think it counts as a bold prediction. Only 2 wins.
2 the year before that, so he's become a consistent winner in the Xfinity Series, and I think this year is a legit championship threat. He's also made some Cup Series starts this year in the 62 and, more importantly, in the 16 for Colleague. He's had some rookie moments in those starts, like Atlanta when he spun out and crashed by himself early. But recently, he's been able to finish some races. He had a top 20 at Talladega, a top 20 at Kansas.
And this was recorded before, was it Michigan, late in the summer, where he drove the 16 and was running like top 5 in that race early on until I think he wrecked out of that race. But he was a top 5 for a long time. So he did show flashes towards the end of the year in the Cup Series.
I can't be the only one who remembers those loose rumors a couple of years ago about him replacing Jimmy Johnson in the 48. Remember that? When it was like a rumor for
when he put the pen emoji out.
Next,
got the whole Twitter sphere screaming.
Ryan Preece does not drive for Stewart-Haas Racing.
Oh, what is this?
Like the Ty Gibbs one. Everyone kind of just assumes that 10 car that Eric Almirola is vacating is basically reserved for Ryan Preece, who was signed this past offseason.
So the Eric Almirola postponing his retirement by at least a year, that ruined this prediction for me, I think.
At the time, I said they were bringing Ryan Preece in really to replace Kevin Harvick after he likely steps away at the end of next season.
That's probably still true.
The reason Almirola got that 10 car.
Not like, obviously, we now know Preece is going to drive the 41 next year. He's going to Cup next year alongside Harvick and Almirola. But I think from like a leadership, a talent perspective, I think SHR is hoping he can kind of evolve into the next Kevin Harvick or something at least remotely close to the monster Kevin Harvick has been. I guess because I figured Cole Custer would stay in the 41 and that car is mostly unsponsored, I guess I figured they'd want a pay driver or someone who brings a lot of funding in the 10 to replace Almirola and to replace Smithfield. That's my guess. I guess I should just watch the video and hear what I said.
When Almirola retires at the end of the season, I think there's a great chance Smithfield backs out as well, or at least significantly decreases the number of primary sponsorship they're willing to fund, which means whoever gets that 10 car will likely need to bring at least some funding with them.
Yeah, okay, so that was my argument. Is Preece, it sounds like he has put some sponsorship together for the 41 next year, which is great, but there's no way he has the same amount of funding that Eric Almirola has had in recent years. Nowhere close. So I guess I figured they would want a funded driver to drive the 10 if they could find one, and they'd save Preece for a year to take over the 4 with Busch beer sponsorship, Hunt Brothers Pizza sponsorship when Harvick retires. I think that was my prediction, which I feel like that wasn't too far off. Almirola postponing his retirement, of course, I think made things easier. Now, they had a funded 10 car. They could look at the 41, which is mostly unsponsored, and talk about who should get that seat. I didn't expect Custer to be gone, considering his father's the president of the team. And obviously he's not gone. He's going to be in Xfinity. Now we know he's going to be in the 00 car, specifically next year. So that's fun. Little return to normalcy. But perhaps the only reason Preece is in Cup at all is because Almirola postponed his retirement. And that car's paid for. The 4 cars got a lot of sponsorship attached. Even the 14 with Briscoe and Mahindra, they've got a lot of sponsorship money attached. The 41 is largely funded by Gene Haas. You can put the best driver in it. And I think right now, Ryan Preece, probably the better driver than Cole Custer. So, I missed on this one pretty bad.
They're going to need someone who brings some funding with them.
Yep.
I don't think that's Ryan Preece next year. I've got two more predictions.
I still got that
I'll
one wrong.
save
I don't know
the
why I'm
bigger
thumbing up.
one for last. But my fourth bold prediction is that Kyle Busch only gets a 1-year extension with Joe Gibbs Racing. And we're right back in this same situation pretty much a year from now.
Yeah.
Mars, M&M's.
Okay, pause. Obviously got this one wrong. Kyle Busch did not sign a 1-year extension with Joe Gibbs Racing. He's going to RCR. But at the time, this was in June, right? So the first we even heard that there was any sort of issues behind the scenes between Busch and JGR was like, I think in April. Wasn't it like at Talladega, I want to say in April, where Kyle Busch told the media, like, ask Joe Gibbs. Ask him why there's no contract in place right now. Ask him. I'm pretty sure that was in April. This was just 2 months later. It wasn't until late summer that other teams like RCR, Colleague, there were rumors. 2311 became the most likely Toyota destination. Those things didn't pop up. Those rumors, those reports didn't begin surfacing until late summer. This was still early summer. And I think at this point in the year, even though it wasn't a sure thing by any means, I think most people still thought Joe Gibbs Racing was the leading candidate to land Kyle Busch. Right around the time this video came out, I believe, Kyle Busch admitted to the public that he was willing to make concessions. He was willing to take less money to stay with Joe Gibbs Racing. I figured they'd put something together at that point, but I think sometime during the summer, Joe Gibbs Racing consciously decided that, no, let's just go with Ty Gibbs. He's cheaper. I think he's ready. He's the owner's grandson. I don't know. Actually, let me look up that concessions quote. When did he make that quote? Oh, apparently that was not until July. That was like a whole month after this video was released. So yeah, I don't know. This was still really early on in the Kyle Busch saga. I think at this point, most people still expected he would stay with JGR, which I guess means this isn't a bold prediction if most people believed it. I don't know. I got this one wrong. Let's hear my argument.
Is stepping away after this season, which means if Kyle Busch is going to keep that 18 ride, they need to find a major multi-million-dollar sponsor to step up.
Obviously.
It's June, late June now, and they haven't found one. There was a report a month or two ago from Bob Pockris that they were close to striking a deal with a major technology company. That could still be in the works, but it's been months now.
Shortly after this video, I believe it was confirmed that Oracle was the company, and that deal fell through.
Anything. I do think they'll find a sponsor for Kyle Busch, but I'm not convinced they'll find a sponsor willing to invest, 3, 4, 5 years down the line. They may find a 1-year deal, and that will allow Gibbs and Kyle Busch to prolong these negotiations for another season, give them more time to potentially find a replacement for M&M's, a true replacement. I think about a couple of years ago when Brad Keselowski wanted a multi-year extension from Penske. They couldn't find the funds to make it happen, so he ended up with a 1-year deal.
I kind of forgot about that. Now I think about the Keselowski-Penske deal, I am now even more surprised that Gibbs didn't figure something out. Maybe Busch just didn't want to take a 1-year deal. There were rumors that he got a pretty nice contract offer, just a 1-year deal, like over a year ago now, and he kind of turned it down thinking he'd get a better deal with sponsorship attached. I don't know if those are true. But yeah, thinking about what Keselowski did at Penske and comparing that now to Busch. Also, I don't know why the chapter titles, are you guys seeing this on the bottom of the screen? Why is Busch misspelled? And I noticed this with Preece, like Ryan Preece, like a Catholic priest. I did not type these. These are not in the description. So like Google or YouTube automatically generated them, and that's how they spelled Preece. Interesting. Just in case anyone has watched this video lately and wondered why everything's misspelled, that was not me. That is a autocorrect. That is Google doing that automatically. Weird.
My bold prediction right now, considering how hush-hush, how quiet those talks have been, I'm saying he gets a 1-year deal, and we'll see what happens for 2024.
So what am I, 1 for 4? What'd I say? I need to go 2 for 5 to be happy? Okay. Got to get this last one right. There's a lot riding on this final bold prediction.
All right, my 5th and final bold NASCAR silly season prediction. I think Jimmy Johnson will return to NASCAR with Trackhouse Racing.
Oh, wait, okay, whoa. I got that like half right. Could I get like a 1.75 out of 5? Like, I got that mostly right. Jimmy Johnson is returning. He's not returning with Trackhouse, though. He's returning and buying into Petty GMS. Where did that come from? That's still, I feel like, because it was renounced like on championship weekend, I feel like it sort of slid under the radar. But that's like crazy news, in my opinion, that really came out of left field. I think most people would agree. Came out of nowhere. Anyway, okay. I think I got this one right. I'm going to count it. Okay, let me hear what I said.
Project 91 car.
Yeah,
No,
I
don't
expected
think Jimmy's
Project
coming back
91.
full time, but I
Okay.
think he'll run a race next year. I'll honestly be surprised if he doesn't.
Yes!
Just last month during the Indy 500,
Got that one right.
he
He's running the
expressed
Daytona
interest in
500, or he's
running
going to at least
Indy
attempt it.
500, Coke 600 double. Obviously, schedules are tight. Not sure how easy that is to do these days, how possible it is, but if anyone can make it work or make it happen, I think it's Jimmie Johnson. Meanwhile, recently, Trackhouse announced.
Yeah, if I'm just going to talk about Trackhouse and Jimmy, that partnership's obviously not happening, but Jimmy's back, and it's with the Chevy team, and it's with Richard Petty and Maury Gallagher and the GMS group. Crazy.
Part-time car that will debut later this summer at Watkins Glen with Kimi Raikkonen behind the wheel. The idea behind this third
Also,
car
I just
is to
noticed
bring in
Jimmy
world-class
Johnson
drivers from all
spelled
sorts
with a
of
Y.
racing
Again,
disciplines.
I did not write that, just to clarify. That is Google automatically filling it in. Don't come at me.
And give them a shot at NASCAR. It sounds like they're focusing more on international drivers. Jimmie Johnson is as American as it gets.
That is
but
true.
If they can put a deal together, I don't think Trackhouse would be opposed to running Jimmie Johnson maybe at Daytona, maybe a road course somewhere.
I need to find this. I'd actually love to talk to Justin Marks about more of his going more in depth on his visions for Project 91. I don't know how fully thought out or fleshed out they are, but it sounds like from what I've heard that someone like Jimmie Johnson's not really who that seat is for, whereas a world-class driver who doesn't have NASCAR experience like Kimi Raikkonen, that is who that car is for. Now, there's recently some reports and rumors that Elio Castroneves could drive the 91 at Daytona, and I think, again, that maybe fits the bill. But I'd be curious to hear more from Justin Marks if his vision for that car has evolved at all in the last 6 months or what. I don't know.
I don't want to see Jimmie Johnson come back and run 25th at Kansas or Martinsville. I want it to be a part of something bigger. If he comes back and runs the Daytona 500, that's a huge race. Okay, do that. But if he comes back and runs the Coke 600 as part of the double, as a racing fan more broadly, that would be a tremendous story to follow. I know it was really fun to follow Kurt Busch when he did it recently in 2014 and did well in the Indy 500, didn't finish the NASCAR race. A driver of Jimmie Johnson's caliber running the double would get national headlines and would certainly pique my interest.
So I still agree with that take. Jimmy hasn't said what races he's going to do next year, but he is doing the Daytona 500, and that's a big race. That's a crown jewel. I agree with my own take from 5 months ago. That I don't want to see Jimmie Johnson come back and run, Dover, although he was really great at Dover for many years. I don't want to see him run, 25th at Dover or 25th at New Hampshire. I just don't want to see Jimmy do what, a lot of other greats have done. And now Jimmy is the greatest of greats, but, even my boy Matt Kenseth, that last year in the 42, outside of a few races, was kind of hard to watch. The Labanis at the end of their careers, they just drove some not so great cars and kind of rode around it. It just wasn't fun to watch. Those are champions. I don't want to see Jimmie Johnson come back and just do that every week. So if he makes a few starts this year, I want them to be in meaningful races or races that he could really be competitive in, which is why the Coke 600, Indy 500 double, that's meaningful. Do it. Daytona 500, he's doing it. He has a chance to win. So far I like Jimmy's schedule, but we'll see how it goes.
Where, when, not sure, but I'd love to see him try the double. And he's opened that door in recent weeks. Share your thoughts down below.
All right.
These predictions, I think, have a real shot at happening. I don't think they're all necessarily the most likely outcome, but I think they're all very realistic. I want to know what you guys think. What do you think?
All right. So I got about 1.5 out of 5 correct. In hindsight, that's okay. If I was a baseball player, what is that? 1.5 out of what batting average is that? That's like a 300 batting average. I'd be an all-star if I was a baseball player. These were supposed to be bold. They were supposed to be a little out there. I wouldn't expect to get all 5 of these right, but we got 1.5 right. I'll take it. Whiffed really badly on a couple of them, but I don't know. I thought this was fun. I hope you guys got a kick out of it. Please feel free to clown me, make fun of me in the comments down below. This is what I open myself up to. I share my opinions on the internet, and as a result, oftentimes I get things wrong, and I have to live with the consequences, or at least try to have some fun with it. So I enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching, y'all. We'll be back soon with some actual silly season update videos, some other NASCAR news and whatnot. But in the meantime, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your weekend. I will see you again very, very soon. Thanks for watching, y'all. Take it easy.